think the students must know they can do it. Why not be a dentist? Why not be a doctor? And I think just erasing the mystique and letting people know that it is possible. They can do it. Anybody can do it. There's financial help, but motivation is the primary thing.
We need the doctor here. We don't have seen doctor often, you know. Some of the time they come around maybe twice a year.
Lots of our young graduate high school, that somehow very few went to the college. Few of them are interested to medical.
Well, first I resisted the idea of dentistry. When I started to think about it, it's a need of the native people, it's a need of the community, it's a need for native people so they can realize they are capable. If I can do it, maybe they can do it. And there's an Indian, she did it, maybe I can.
I can remember when I was a kid, it seems like there was a lot of kids, infants, babies that were getting ill, and a lot of them seems like we're leaving for the hospital. But it seems to me that rather than going to the hospital to get well, they were going to the hospital to die. I saw this within my family. My oldest brother had some children. It seemed like that at least 3 of his kids, it seemed like every year would get sick and would go to the hospital and would die. It came to a point where I sort of felt that the hospital wasn't a place to get well. The hospital was a
Henry
place to
Brown
die.
is a pre-med student from Mountain Village. As a young boy, he was disturbed by the many sicknesses and deaths in his family and in his village. He always wanted to do something to help. But what could he do and how? He decided to become a doctor. And today, Henry Brown is well on his way to achieving that goal.
I think I was about 9 or 10 years old. Anyway, I remember one of my nephews was ill and very sick. They called the hospital and the doctor suggested that he goes to the hospital. And they even said that they were sending a charter plane. And when I heard that, I was really very sad to hear that he was leaving.
Get you to the hospital, Reg.
I can remember thinking that he wasn't going to the hospital to get well, he was going to the hospital to die. And I was also surprised that my mother had the same feelings, and then she didn't want to go to the hospital. But the mother, I think in her desperation, went with the child, and they went into the hospital, and I thought that was the last time I'd ever see him.
What's wrong with this boy?
I don't know. He's been running a high fever and he looks like he might be in shock.
Let's get a blood pressure on this boy. Have an IV, please. Quickly. What's his blood pressure? Give me a 2321 butterfly, please.
Blood pressure 60 over nothing.
Will you please hurry on that?
I don't have a 21.
Thank you. Some tape, please.
Right here. Let's get a blanket.
The tape.
Put on.
Let's cover him. I'm in. Okay, I've got the IV in. Give me an otoscope, please. I think this boy has meningitis. Let's get ready to do spinal tap. What's his blood pressure doing now?
Blood pressure 64 over 20 now.
Let's turn that IV up a little bit. Let's do a spinal tap on this boy. Number 7 gloves, please.
Okay. Okay, sweetheart, turn over here. No, turn over, honey. It's Bridgie, it's okay.
It's okay.
Bridgie, just turn over here for a minute.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
It's all right.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Atta boy.
It's okay.
Turn right over
Yeah.
here. Good boy.
We're not gonna hurt.
Okay, just hold
We're
real
not
still for a
gonna
minute.
Several weeks later, all of a sudden the kid came back and he was really well, and I was very, very surprised. Well, that did it. And I says, well, maybe the hospital's not a place to die after all. It's a place to get well. As far as attitudes go, I think one of the most important things is to discipline yourself. Like, I know there are times when you really don't want to do anything. You would rather be doing something else besides studying. I think if you get into the habit sooner to discipline yourself to study, then life in college wouldn't be so difficult, because oftentimes the courses you take require a lot of reading, and oftentimes the professor would be assigning several chapters or pages for you to read, and it's often better if you sit down and read the subject ahead of time, so that when he does give the lecture, then you at least know what's going on. I think as far as subjects go, the most important subjects would be physics, mathematics, especially algebra, some geometry, probably trigonometry if you can take that, biology, and chemistry. The basic pre-med requirements are in colleges at least 1 year of physics, 1 year of general chemistry, 1 year of organic chemistry, 1 year of physics, and lab included in all those. And some schools require that you have calculus, but some only require that you have at least college algebra and trigonometry. Hello, I'm Henry Brown, community health medic. Can I help you?
Part of Henry's training has included working in Bethel as a physician's assistant. Here, Henry gained valuable experience and discovered the advantages of being bilingual.
Unog mi bakan kawaksigat laktudun ka.
Kawa kamachan rikha tupara kama kawaksigat lakto manna asi.
Dutan yok kata ramkan. Children kai suna yukan.
Chan retu.
Maksud. Nilhan.
Asik terang tanah ni cek lakto.
Kamah pagan.
Tashi maksud nak tu tashi hakut ni cek.
Sakay nakto ka kangat lang.
Sakay buah.
Unadang bangun.
1
At another time, Henry was able to visit his home in Mountain Village and make a few house calls.
Pagka nalaksit
Makuchim pi
kamakpagnik
man na itak kalikoyakan.
kaitun daw sugat daw na.
Ikaw sumikunak kiskan.
Kisana ka kapletuk
Sa kami pilak.
kaitun.
Akisim kusa kami tang bilak.
Aksakay naktok ka nga sa asikay nagluni.
Ako ka masin. Tawumun puksang pinritak nankan ka pilak.
Kukasan ka sa yukap.
Asih tak.
Don't bit ka na. Tôi khatot na asariyakot. Tsakang su asartok nit ka.
We need the doctor here. We don't have doctor often, you know. So every time they come around, maybe twice a year.
Lots of our young graduate high school that somehow very few are interested to medical.
Why not be a doctor?
When my father became ill, he was supposed to go to the hospital the next day, but before he left, he died. And, during those moments, then I was telling myself that I wanted to get involved in healthcare delivery. Disciplining yourself to do a lot is good training. Even if you have to stay up all night studying, although you do feel discouraged, it's still a very good experience to go through, because when you do get into medicine, then your time will be very much in demand.
Good to have Henry Brown. At the time of accident here yesterday, my grandchild is poisoned, and he taken care right there. Maybe even he died if he's not here. And he chartered a plane from St. Mary, and my daughter and my wife went to rush to the hospital, and then we heard it's okay.
Why not medicine? Why not become a doctor? For information on how you can become a doctor, contact Alaska Federation of Natives, Health Careers, Anchorage.